It's interesting because you've been with essentially SEO, we'll call it generally SEO, but now I think maybe more digital marketing, which is with AI has expanded even more. It's wild how what you've seen, the transition from where you started to now.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever thought about how different it is now compared to back then?
Yeah. I mean, the core principles are, for the most part, the same, right? You're trying to write content that satisfies the intent of what people are searching for, right? Whether it's on Google or YouTube or wherever you're placing your content, right? But the one thing that I will say is back when I first got started, it was so much easier, right? Because there wasn't so much competition. And the Google algorithm at the time, was not as complicated as it is now, right? It's gotten way harder. And I think that's a good thing. And so just over the years, as more competition came in and more, as I started to kind of build my agency and I guess master my craft, then, I think that created a bigger demand for people like me in the market too, right? So I looked at it as like, it was a good thing that it got more competitive and harder over the years.
Yeah. Does Google give you the playbook or do you have to figure it out?
I mean, Google, they will try to steer you in the right direction or sometimes the wrong direction, I guess. But for the most part, it really comes down to practicing. And because I work with so many law firms, I have access to so much data. And we do a lot of experiments. I even have sites that are just truly sites that I just use for testing. And I take some of those sites, I leverage, some of the strategies that I want to prove a hypothesis, and I do, and then we will incorporate some of the lessons that we've learned into some of our client strategies as well.
I mean, I'd never thought about doing something like that. That's a really cool idea. Would you recommend that law firms, now they're not going to have access to as much data as you.
Sure.
Would you recommend that they have a separate site that they can play around with like that?
It's not a bad thing, because if it does work, right, you can have a second site that might serve as like a lead generation site for your firm. Right. So, it's certainly not a bad thing. Like some of the sites that I've built over the years, one is birthinjurylawyer.com, right? That's a powerful site that I do a lot of experimentation on as well. I had a couple other lead gen sites in Dallas that were like personal injury sites. And then there's a term called rank and rent, right? So you get it to rank and then you rent it out to a law firm. And so they basically become virtual assets. So there are certain things that you can do to monetize those sites if it's not just for your firm, but, maybe to rent it out to somebody else too.
Is that the same concept as the people that will sell like the 1-800 numbers that are really popular?
Similar, yeah, I guess because they own the asset. And then you're just kind of like renting or leasing that number. So very similar, right? So if I own a website that's ranking very well on Google and it's driving traffic and driving leads and cases, you as the owner of the website can never get fired, right? If anything, like you just find another tenant, right, that would take over the lease of that site. So.